Okay, so here we got a 150 amp service. Alright, so 150 amp service. Alright, largest breaker that we have on here is going to be a 50 at the very bottom. Alright, so there's a 30 there. Alright, 30 there. 40 at the bottom. Alright, and it's going to be for the gas, the stove, which would be the range, electric range. I don't remember what it was at this moment, but it's going to be in the scope. Anyway, so all of this stuff here. Let's see if you can get all of it. Yep, basically. Now, at that point, we have here a digital center point meter. Right. Definitely gonna just have to relocate this box a little bit, maybe. I don't know if, excuse me, if we don't move it, I apologize. We don't move this box, we can actually just put the transfer switch there. I'll account for the footage from there to there. Basically here, I don't really know for sure what this is. I guess it just stops here. Alright, they just foamed it up. Basically here, we're going to be going from the transfer switch. We're going to have to go up into the eave, right? Or I mean, whichever way this goes right here, right? Because they did renovate the kitchen, so this is fairly new. So it goes up in there, whichever way it goes. After the fact, if it's right behind, you know, this thing, the vinyl, I don't know what it is, but you know, up into the eave, and just running it all the way down, pretty much on the inside of this, or which would be, if in fact you can't really do that, going over the top, right? So just going up into there and just running it over the top of the house, over the top of the patio thing and everything. Right, basically running it, going this way, right? Ideally keeping it in the inside of the home up until this point. If it's possible to continue through there, and if not, just kind of like coming down here. At this point, they would be okay with us being able to drop it down from here, where it makes this corner, and just drop it externally, and from there just run it over the top of the ear, right? Over the top there, and they would be okay with that at that point here. Bringing it around, right, exactly where you see my flashlight, and just kind of bringing it this way and running it down the side along this right here. For this one, it's kind of complicated because this is actual construction project. See the gas meter, right? That gas meter is going to be dead. Basically, that's going to be relocated towards, you know, behind this on the side of the house over here. So you see the generator pad. It's going to be the corners of the pad. We're exactly 5 feet off that window, which is good. And then right at the 5 foot mark, it ends, and it's flush exactly with the end of the wall. Now, for them to avoid them the trouble of having to have both a conduit on the outside and the gas line on the outside running around with that, was definitely not something they were open towards, because they're going to do a whole landscaping thing after the generator's installed. So in order for them to not have to do and break up the entire brick and then pour a slab all at the same time, is the cost of, you know, relocating a meter and the generator together, and the landscaping, all that stuff. They don't really want to go ahead and, you know, do the entire slab. So we're going to have to saw cut right there from where the inlet goes into the gas to the home, from this generator, this old one, basically this whole line that's moving from there into the house. Because it's going to be dead at that point, once we're done, they're going to end up having to remove that line regardless, right? There at that point, we're going to saw cut right here, right? That way we can run the gas line, go this way on the outside, basically in the dirt, and avoid all of this at all cost. All right, make our way all the way down to the generator, and then we're gonna do the additional plumbing work on this one, where basically because they're relocating the meter. I already talked to you, Buster, about this one. It's gonna be ideally on the pictures from last time we talked about it, was we both, okay, it's gonna go on the outside like that. Okay, so she didn't want that at all, so we ended up coming to terms, and then, we both agreed that it would be much simpler. It might be wiser for them to just go ahead and saw cut here and trench the line, because they need to do all these inspections in between from relocating the meter and all that kind of deal. Here at this point, all right, we're going to be running one series gas line. Basically, from my understanding, we can once break off that one, right, we put the new gas line into the house, right. I really should be working backwards here, but we're going to be going from the house here this way, right, running the gas line through the dirt, avoiding their brick patio, right, all the way down here to where the generator is going to go. Now, because they're getting a new meter put in over there to replace the one that they have in the middle of the yard, right, they're going to be coming in like that, coming this way, right, and putting the new meter right there where the stake is at. Once the meter is there, right, they have to, what they were told was, in order to switch off one valve to open up the one other valve on the same property, I don't know, man. Their plumber was trying to do so many things that I didn't understand at the end of the day what the hell Centerpoint was doing or telling them. But because it's gonna go here and they're gonna cut off that line, we have to still be able to give them access to their home and the gas. So running that one independent line regulated at 2 pounds, right, going through the meter, only having a 2-pounder there, run that gas line over here, and then basically towards the back there, you can kind of, there we go. Oop. Now we're going to be running from there, the gas meter, just that one independent line going into the ground, coming this way, going here, right there where the gas inlet comes out for the flex pipe on the generator. Right, we put the additional regulator on there to maintain the ounces afterwards, after the fact, and then from that point, continue that one line to what would be the, basically all the way down there. Right. The thing is just avoiding that concrete or that brick or whatever they got. Instead of tearing up the entire part of it, basically doing one line, going there, 2 pounds of pressure till we get to this here, the generator. So we are exactly 5 feet, right? From there to there, that's exactly 5 feet, right? So from there to there, you see that one flag, I'm missing one, but from there to the window is exactly 5 feet. All right, so once we come out of the gas line, right, then we go and regulate down back to ounces. We're gonna go ahead and do the additional plumbing work to go from there on. Basically, we're going to run it down the length this way. From, once it comes out, we're going to end up trenching again, coming down this way, and then directly, right, across this way, right. And where my idea was, right, because of the fact that we don't know when this pipe can be removed, because that's a whole lot of more digging, right, for them. Because obviously we're not going to take the time to do that, right, unless they actually, offer to pay a substantial amount, I guess. I don't know. Right, but at the end of the day, we won't. Right, I know we're not messing with that for sure, right? But at the end of the day, because they're still going to have that pipe in here, right? Once we come out this way, right, we elbow off into what we saw cut. It would have to be a little bit, I guess, at the 18-inch mark would be substantial or enough to say that we can actually leave this pipe right where it's sitting, because we're not going to do any labor for that. We would just run the line directly next to it, right, for as close as possible to where we can get it connected to the new gas line once they actually do the final connections. They're at that point, right, because we're going to regulate down to ounces after the generator. Basically, we're going to be hooking up their house to that new gas meter that they're going to be having for the generator. right? And it's just really just the fact that, I mean, there's a lot of space in this yard, and then you have that right there, right? And it's just, they barely moved into this house, right? And that's just very not, I mean, it's like you can't really do anything with it. It's just there, right? So they're getting rid of it. They're gonna be moving the line over there, putting a new meter on that side of the house. From that meter, we're gonna run one pipeline, basically, to the generator at 2 pounds of pressure, regulated at the meter. Right thereafter, we're gonna regulate back into ounces, right? And we're gonna avoid messing with all of this patio brickwork up until here, where you see the actual tape. At that point, we're gonna saw cut in, right? And it looked like they kind of did it before too. Based off everything else, kind of disproportionate as far as the design of it. Then once you get to this part, it's an even plane where you can definitely see where everything is like leveled, right? Like all this, it's exactly leveled, right? Every one of these bricks is at the exact same level. Here, over there, everything looks definitely like, you know, some are popped up, some are raised. So definitely, we just need to be able to cut up enough, right? Maybe it's gonna be maybe a little bit more than the 2 inches. I mean, not the 2 inches, pardon me, the 18 inches, right? From in width here. All right, 18 inches might be a little bit less than what we need, especially if we're going to be putting the other gas line in, and not moving this one. I know definitely we're not going to be moving it. We're just going to end up tapping off of that, right? I do acknowledge that you guys said that, you know, putting some, just trying to break this, you might end up breaking it, and I get that. So, given the fact that we're not going to tie into this line at all whatsoever, because it's old, we wouldn't even be able to handle 2 pounds of pressure for sure, right? This year they're going to end up having to remove that gas line, right? Once that is completely shut off, that gas meter, sure. And then once that's pretty much set up, we're just going to have one gas line from that meter to the generator to here, right? And then for their conduit, again, just to remind, going back over what I've done, pretty much from here, installing transfer switch, going off from there, running up through all the way over there, over the top, whether it's going to be over the top externally or, you know, over the top through it, if it's possible, and by all means, please do so. But they're okay with if we have to run it over the top of the helm. Yeah, might look a little weird, but at that point, it'll still be open to that. So out of those two options, whichever one works for you guys, definitely. But for sure, we're not running no conduit over the external part of this home, right? I please just don't want to mess that up. Right? You guys come out here and then putting the conduit on the top of the house, you know, right here visible. Yeah, no, please. We're just gonna try to go up, you know, as much as we can. But I had also considered the fact of, you know, we go ahead and do another socket over here, right? And basically for the transfer switch to do that, going down this way, right? Trenching from that point on to where the gas meter is gonna end up meeting and running the conduit the same exact way. That way we don't have to basically deal with all that stuff up in the attic, right? At the end of the day, we'd just be on the outside of the home. But counting the cost to do that, it might be just easier, a whole lot simpler and much quicker to just go up the top through it or over the top of this entire thing, right? Based off that, you know, it's nothing much more I can show, but if anything, is going to be 24 inches that we're going to have to cut here and here. Just due to the fact that we're not moving that line that's there already, right? Obviously, we're not going to move it. We're just going to dig enough to where we can place the pipe, right? Go this way, elbow out that way, all the way straight across, and then going back over there. And at that point, all right, we're going to go ahead and just do one continuous gas run to get these guys up and going as soon as possible once they get the new meter in. Because once they flip over, it's going to be in tandem, I guess. I don't know how that works, but basically, once that old one, once they shut off that old one, all right, this line to the home, right, from there, in order to actually get this one, the whole entire meter put in, right? Getting it put in and seeing it, testing it to see if it works. It's a whole different thing. From what I imagine would be, we would have to have at least the gas line trench this way, right? Set up with the regulator, and then ran that way and into the home, and connected at the house. Once that's off, so they can check this meter, test it to make sure that it's good with the new gas line, which would be running to that generator. Now I'm going to be charging for the saw cut. I have the 8 feet. There's 8 feet cut, right? 24 inches apart. It's from one cut to the other, and then basically that entire linear, just that one slot right there, is going to get taken out, right? We don't have to really worry about putting it back. They're going to have to figure that out at the end of the day. That's going to avoid us from having to break the entire thing up, right? The entire length of it. But that's about all I can show. I'm just going to pause real quick and then go and show you the actual AC. So I'll show you that gas meter. I mean, it's a good upgraded meter, but it's just a very inconvenient spot that they're been battling for. I mean, I don't know when I went to come see these guys for the first time, but I've been going back and forth with them trying to get them what they want, right? And it's no problem. At the end of the day, they haven't, flinched an eye at us installing a generator. They would much prefer us to do the job, right? So I hope that kind of clarifies a lot more. Now let me just 1 second. Okay, so this is AC right behind here, right? Literally is going to be where they're going to be putting that gas meter, right? So back there, you see the corner of the house. This is where the AC is at. Now I'm actually on the other side of the house, on the outside of the fence. Basically here we got a 4-ton AC. So that's 4-ton, RLA of 19.9, LRA of 109. One phase, 60 hertz. That's about it. Thank you. Sorry for the long video, Buster. I know it takes up a lot more time, but damn, there's no other way to be able to. There has to be a way to make this more efficient, man. I'll be damned. Everybody looks pretty stressed out with how much they gotta do. Right? You watching these videos for the entire length of time, brother? Damn. Thanks, man.